What's up, party people? So I'm at the beach today in Waikiki, and I'm thinking about the ruling I got yesterday at the unconstitutional and illegal family court. Of course, I didn't have a jury of my peers. I wasn't allowed to present evidence. I wasn't even allowed to call witnesses. So I'm not sure what part of the farce exactly they're considering a legitimate legal proceeding. Clearly, it's not. But it's funny because people don't think about the outcomes of what these kinds of things lead to. Basically, when you disenfranchise men in particular, what you're doing is really destroying the economy because men start businesses. Men hire people, men are employers, men by and large are the ones who are entrepreneurs and are the ones who strike out and kind of boost the entire economy by hiring people and starting businesses. And that's men by and large are the lifeblood of the economy. There's women entrepreneurs out there. I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but it's definitely the minority, like a huge minority. Like most women would rather, honestly, most women, and why wouldn't they, would rather stay home with the kids and raise kids. Women find having a family incredibly rewarding. So, it's not really realistic or in the best interest of society to think that there's going to be all these female entrepreneurs out there. Now there are, but it's rare. It's very rare, statistically speaking, and that's fine. Like there's nothing wrong with that. If women would rather stay at home with the kids anyway, that's good for society. That's good for children. That's really just good all the way around. But what ends up happening in these custody cases is the men almost never get custody. It's 8 out of 10 times the woman gets custody, 1 out of 10 times the man gets custody, and the other 10% of the time the kids end up going into foster care or end up with the grandparents or whatever. That's still the statistics right now, today, in 2021. That's still the statistical reality of the world that we live in. So what ends up happening is, because these men are now burdened with child support and all of these other immoral and unconstitutional and illegal disincentives for them to start families and raise children, etc., what ends up happening is the men don't start businesses. I mean, look at my situation. If I started a business and had a bunch of employees and was making a bunch of money, my ex-wife, who hasn't let me see my kids in 5 years, would be able to collect half of my income. So do you think I'm going to go start a business and employ a bunch of people? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Now, if I wasn't in this situation, I probably would. I'd probably be running an all-organic pizzeria or something. I've had a lot of different business ideas over the years that I probably would have went whole hog on and pursued and put a lot of effort into and hired a bunch of employees and been a boost to the local economy and the regional economy. But as it is, I have no incentive to do so because the only outcome of that would be my garbage narcissist ex-wife would basically get half of my salary. She'd be able to just come in and claim ownership of half of my business. So what's the incentive for me to start a business? There is none. And so consequently, I do not start a business. I just, move from job to job. Whatever can pay me this week more than last week, I'll go take it. And I don't even hold a job for more than 6 weeks because if I do, child support services will come after me. And there's no way I'm going to pay somebody who hasn't allowed me to see my children for 5 years. There's just no way. I'm not even incentivized to hold a job, much less like start a business and hire a bunch of other people and be a boost for the economy. And and then when you zoom out and you realize that there are millions of men in this country in my same situation, then you start to realize why our economy is in such a shambles. It's just one of the reasons. There's a bunch of other reasons: taxation, unfair, corrupt government edicts that overwhelmingly favor large corporations that pay people miserable, unlivable salaries. Walmart and Target. I mean, they don't pay their employees well, and most of their employees are living in abject poverty. So, but of course, those giant corporations also pay for politicians and rig the game so that it's unfair for small business owners. So that is also affecting the economy negatively. And it's not just family courts, but family courts is a big part of it. You're talking about millions of potential entrepreneurs and small business owners and employers who are actually disenfranchised from contributing to the economy. I mean, there's no incentive for me to contribute to the economy. None. The only thing that would do would be to aid and abet the serial child abuser who's been abusing my children for 5 years. So, I mean, do you think I'm going to go start a business and pay taxes on that business and pay my ex-wife and pay all these greasy lawyers who are aiding and abetting a serial child abuser? And parental alienation is horrendous child abuse. Hell no. So basically, there's no incentive for me to be a beneficial aspect to our economy. There's no incentive for me to boost the economy and start a business and hire employees, etc. Why? You know, this woman who cheated on me and has been abusing my children for 5 years would just make hundreds of thousands of dollars off of my labor and my sweat and my employees' labor and sweat. It's disgusting. There's no way in hell I'm going to do that. And I'm not the only guy. There's a lot of guys out there in my same exact situation. And, you know, my life's not bad. You know, I'm chilling at the beach, enjoying the sunshine, having a nice day. But, you know, at the same time, you know, I could be running an organic pizzeria or running some other business that would benefit the economy, benefit all the people in the local economy. But why would I? And the answer is, there's absolutely no reason why I would. Absolutely none. And until we get into a situation where society more highly values monogamy and basic family values and allowing children to have both parents in their lives, eliminate child support entirely. All child support does is incentivize child abuse. That's all it does. Because the more custody a woman has, the more the ex-husband has to pay them. So you're incentivizing women to not allow the children to see their father. That's all you're doing. That's all child support does. People think, oh, you know, what about these deadbeat dads? What deadbeat dads? I don't know any. I'm sure there's some out there, but they're not the bulk of the people out there. Most dads want to have a relationship with their children. Most dads want to provide for their children. It's a source of personal pride, of self-worth, of, you know, most dads want to help their children succeed in life. Most of them do. So because of a few bad apples who didn't do that, who were just, you know, knocking women up and then moving to the next town or whatever. And I'm sure there's scoundrels like that out there. I'm not saying they don't exist, but they are such a vast minority. And now, because of those few bad apples, we've completely disenfranchised an entire generation of potential fathers, small business owners, people who could really be an overall net benefit for society, are not incentivized to do so. And so here I am at the beach, enjoying the sun. And this isn't my nature at all. My nature is, I'm a workaholic. I would much rather be running a business and hiring and firing employees and mentoring young people in the community to start their own businesses. But there's no incentive for me to do so. None. And so as a result, I'm just chilling at the beach. And why not? Why wouldn't I?